the 50 is a premium, anything below is a discount. We're looking for 15-minute fair value gaps. And specifically, I'm going to be breaking down a buy trade you could have taken last week, or how to use the 4-pillar approach. So the 4-pillar approach is now, number 4 is fair value gaps. I'm just going to write FVGs for short, right? So fair value gaps are essentially imbalances, inefficiencies, right? So by using the 4-pillar approach, what you've derived is POI selection. POI selection. And so POI selection is the bread and butter as to how I trade, right? So you may have heard me talk about the XXX model. So the POI selection is where to trade from. Then you need to know what to look for, right? Which is basically buyers and sellers. And then you need to know why the markets move up and down, right? So the number of traders who don't know why the market moves up, in this case, we're going to be going over a buy trade. Why does the market move up? And more importantly, why are you pressing the buy button, right? What gives you confidence to press that buy button? We're going to break this all down. So let's kind of break this down. So we have POI selection over here. So how do you form a POI? Nice and simple. So now notice how this is the 50% area. We're below the 50%. So we've come into a discount. And so how do I form my POI? So I want every trader to understand what a fair value gap is. And so this here is essentially the fair value gap, right? So the fair value gap in this case is, you can see this wick, right? And this wick, you know, there's a gap there, right? If you look at in between the red lines, there is a gap. And so my point of interest is always the last candle before the fair value gap. Always, right? It is just going to be this candle over here. Boom. Right? So I'm going to get rid of the red lines because I don't really like them there. It's a bit confusing. This is the point of interest, and a point of interest is derived from two things. When you're choosing a POI, right? A point of interest or a POI is derived from two things. You need to know, so I'm just going to put this over here, right? So this is our point of interest. You need to know that a point of interest is essentially needs to be priced correctly. So if you're buying, your POI needs to be in the discount, and on top of that, it has to leave a fair value gap. These are the two things. Now, the third extra confluence you can use, and we're going to be going over this, is what we call PO3 alignment. PO3 alignment, right? So I didn't spell that right. So we're going to be using PO3, right? PO3 alignment. What does that mean? So let's kind of drag this over to the right-hand side.